want to see the demo. Take it away, Cam.
All right. Welcome everybody to what is our final meeting. We get to see your finished product. How exciting, or I should say finished to this point product. How exciting. I don't know. It seemed like you all were organizing a presentation for us in Slack. So I'm not sure who I should hand it off to, but we are ready and excited to see what the final product looks like.
Andrew, we can't hear you.
Oh no.
There you are.
You're
You were
good
just
now.
muted.
Am I good now? Oh, good.
Yeah.
I've been having perpetual sound driver issues. So I was like, oh, that would be fun to do today. Let me share my screen. Okay. Does this look okay? I can also make things bigger.
This is trendy and beautiful. Just at first glance, this is probably the trendiest build I've ever seen. Okay, go on. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, this is our brand identity. We ended up having a bunch of different options, and we went with Peasy. We thought it was like a nice blend with this design of something that's like kind of fun, but also very clean and usable, and emphasizes that it's like a grocery list and that it checks things off and that it has like makes your life easier, sorts of things for you. So yeah, we were basically going to go through and just demo the whole process of using the app. So Connie, do you want to walk us through creating a new list, and we'll go from there? Or
Sure,
actually, we have an extra thing. We have an onboarding page.
Yeah, so actually, a lot of this, we did a lot of design. We also kind of did a lot of UX and wireframing. So we've kind of restructured the app and hopefully have improved the user experience. So homepage, just wanted to make this really nice and simple, trendy, like you said, like your nice landing pages, keep the CTAs really clean. Then we also have kind of this onboarding page, learn how Peasy works, which kind of takes you to a separate page. So here, we just wanted to make it really clear kind of how Peasy works. If there were any questions, I think that especially with the sorting based on the purchase date, we wanted to kind of communicate that to users so that it's clear kind of that that's really how the list is sorted and kind of the benefits that you get from it, as well as the ability to really share the token. I think that's something that's not necessarily really communicated, especially in the wireframes or the original wireframes we were given. So we wanted to kind of feature some of these elements of the app and kind of make a nice kind of benefits page, or a page where you can kind of learn more about how the app works.
Okay, well, let's get started. So I'm going to start by creating a new list. And yeah, this is something that Connie had a really great idea for. So maybe you can talk a little bit as well about the add item panel. Originally, everything was on 2 separate pages. And I think, Connie, do you want to talk about your inspiration for this adding items?
Yeah, for sure. So one of my favorite to-do apps is the Microsoft To-Do app, formerly Wunderlist. And in that to-do list, when you add an item, a panel kind of slides out. So we really liked this idea of being able to add an item and still see the list at the same time. I think before, when in the original wireframes, when it was kind of on a separate view, you didn't really get any feedback that your item was being added. You kind of lost track of the original list. So we wanted some way to kind of have the list and the add item, kind of form side by side, so you can kind of see both at the same time. So I think Andrew especially has done a great job, and all of us kind of combined to kind of make this this big plus button that kind of animates and transitions to this X to kind of close the panel as well, which I think looks really great with the animation as well.
Yeah, it was a little tricky, and probably we could clean it up a little bit with the CSS. One of the challenges was making sure that this didn't, that because it kind of has a bit of a, needs to be kind of fixed position in certain ways in order to have a panel always visible, but then you have an issue with text spilling over. So it's a combination, so that even if you make everything like really small, a little bit more, like you can still scroll basically and see everything. So that was a big challenge that I worked on a bunch this week. And yeah, I think I was going to talk, oh, we also have the ability to delete items, of course. And we have a check for if you try to add the same thing twice, it won't allow you to do that. And it shows you an error. And I'm going to switch over to show kind of a little bit about the sorting to a list that has more stuff in it, so that we can basically kind of show that off. So everything is sorted by when you're going to need to purchase it next, which is a combination of figuring out how often a person purchases things based on, you know, an algorithm that tracks the time between different purchases, and also tracking when you last purchased an item. So the things that you're most, you know, going to need the soonest according to all of that logic will go to the top, and the things that you won't need for a while will go to the bottom, and things that you're not really buying anymore become inactive. So let me make the screen a little bit, what's going on my second screen. So I can talk a little bit about, we made some little changes to the MVP and did a couple of things different to try to make a better UX. And these are all like ideas that we kind of all contributed to over time. So one thing that we did, if you check off an item, but you accidentally did it by mistake, there's a 5-minute interval where you can uncheck it, and it will basically restore the previous data for that item. So you don't lose any information, but you have the ability to correct a mistake. We thought it was like a little bit confusing that, especially if you're first learning to use the app, that you could check something off, but then what, like maybe if you did it by mistake, or if you didn't really understand what you were doing yet, then you wouldn't be able to undo that for 24 hours. Now, if you already have passed the 24 or the 5-minute undo window, and you try to check something off again, it tells you why you can't do it, to make sure that you understand you already purchased this in the last 24 hours. So that's one thing that we added. Another little thing we changed with the sorting, you'll notice that if you add a new item, and I'll do it on mobile this time. So what don't I have on this list? If I can think of something.
How about cereal?
Yeah, cereal could be. So yeah, adding a new item. Originally, it basically new items would just fall to inactive, and we thought that that was really confusing, because if you're adding something and you're saying you're going to buy it soon, then probably it should show up as fairly soon. So one other choice that we made, and I think Nick and I worked a lot on this, is that when you add a new thing, whatever estimate you gave is what's used initially before you have any information to calculate where to show it on the list. And then once you start buying it, then it will become smarter. But that way, if you say you're going to purchase something soon, it will show up like 7 days after you add it on the list, and then we'll adjust from there, which we thought was a better experience than having it like jump to inactive, which seemed a bit counterintuitive to all of us. Yeah, and I think, Nick, do you want to show off another thing that we did, the accordion feature, the way we're showing all of our item details?
Yeah, so I think originally there was, in the original wireframes, there was a item details page for each item, like a separate page. And we thought it would be better for a couple of reasons to do it sort of in line. And so you have these, every item has this little arrow where you can expand to show those details that were in the original design, but just in line with each item. And then we also have an option if you want to see all of them at once and you want to just change, sort of like changing your view to a more detailed view of the entire list, you're able to do that as well. So we thought that it was better to have these in line like this because these, the details that are in there are things that kind of help the user understand a little bit better how the app is working. And it also allows them to sort of compare items instead of viewing that extra information one item at a time. They can kind of see more at once and sort of be able to compare and again see better how it's working. So the other part of this is we added an additional label. So you'll see it in almond milk and bananas there. They say that you know buy this soon, and that is based on the item status that is from that original. I don't remember which week this was, but there are basically 4 categories of how soon you'll need to buy something. So we added that detail to 2 of those categories. The one where it's the soonest, like possible out of those 4, the soonest, you know, less than 7 days. And then we added to the inactive ones. And for that, we do a little bit extra. We do this little message that says, you don't seem to be buying this. And then you can, you know, have an extra little delete button there. So yeah, and I think that delete is also the only, you know, subtle little extra color we added with the red there. We're pretty cognizant about trying to keep the design clean and not have too many colors while also, you know, using them in limited ways to convey information like we did here. So
yeah, we spent a lot of time checking all of our color accessibility. And we have a very subtle gradient with the checkboxes that's more of a design element that we felt that, you know, this wasn't a super intuitive, like having a color code wasn't super intuitive and wouldn't be accessible to everyone. So it's kind of like a little bonus, like context cue rather than a critical thing. And that's kind of why we have these like inline labels and the inline details so that it's very, very, very clear how it's sorting, what stuff you need to purchase in the next week, which is probably the most relevant category. Whereas like we don't really indicate kind of soon and not soon because those things are kind of like arbitrary to the user and not transparent about what they mean. So we think that we thought it was kind of more meaningful, like to not emphasize categories. The difference between, you know, something that needs to be bought in 29 days versus 31 is probably not super meaningful to a user, but the exact date that they might want to purchase it might be, and the order might be. So we kept that sort of distinction a bit subtle. Yeah, does that cover all the details, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's about everything with those.
Cool. Sheila, do you want to talk about sharing, and maybe we can do like a little demo of sharing your list? I think you might be muted.
Oh yeah. Okay,
right.
can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, great. And did you want me to share my screen or did you want to show yours?
Well, let's start with mine and then we'll switch over and share token.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so pretty much each list is associated with the unique token. The reason why we did that is so instead of using an auth, the reason why we did that was, of course, it was part of the MVP, but also because of the simple fact that multiple people in the same house can use the same token to share the same list. So let's see. You can show like where you can click on the list there. Okay, so you have the rodeo rage dip. So it reveals your token, and it's also telling you that it's copied the token. And so that's pretty much where it's automatically copied to the clipboard here. And then that's pretty much it. But it made it pretty simple. And also she's showing you here on the mobile view as well. So it kind of took away, some of the words, but you still have that ability to copy the token and reveal the token as well, with the mobile view as well.
I just pasted it into the chat, so the copy paste works. We also, we have a couple different copy paste functions, and did a fix this week that if it doesn't work on certain older browsers, that it won't break everything. So that we also got done. Do you want to, should we switch to you now, Sheila, and you can show how you can join the same list?
Yep, I already have the homepage up. Let's see. All right, so hold on. So you guys can see my screen and see I'm looking at Amber, right?
Not yet.
See your screen? No, I can't see your screen.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
There we go.
Alrighty, hold on. Let me go in the chat and grab the token really quick. Just to show you that the copy and paste does really work. All right. So now I'm clicking on it and joining the list, and bam, here you go. All 14 items.
Oh yeah, that's
on the
another thing
same
we did
list.
is we added an item count, and that makes it kind of clear as you're adding things as well. And yeah, we have a link to the help at the top. We did a whole bunch of stuff this week. I think that's pretty much the app.
This is phenomenal. A huge
Amazing.
congratulations. I'm just going to say it. This is the best smart shopping list I've seen at the Collab Lab. Like, the attention to detail on this one is incredible, and the attention to the user experience considerations and accessibility is just super impressive. This app is so polished and slick. And I mean, if Instagram advertised this to me today, I would download it for sure. This is amazing.
That's
Super
what I was just
professional.
gonna say. Wait, there's more. The detail that has been taken by this team in making sure that all of the accessibility checks are checked is inspiring. It's really, really cool.
Y'all have really gone above and beyond, and this is incredible. I'm so proud of you.
Amazing. So good. You're hired somewhere. Gonna get you some jobs now because you're all ready, clearly.
Yeah, like, you should do whatever you can to make sure this app stays on production somewhere so that you can continue to showcase it forever, because this is brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely 100%. I would say whenever you get into a conversation talk about a project that you really enjoyed working on, or that you're particularly proud of, or whatever, like, make sure that you have, like, here's this project and here's what I did and how I contributed and what I learned, and because it's this really great showcase piece.
And even aside from the app, I just want to highlight this was a really well done presentation. Everything went extremely smooth, and clearly you were all prepared, and it showed. So, although with this level of attention to detail, I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, this team is like dream team because everybody's very thoughtful. The communication is just like really high. just the self-organizing, all the details, the thoughtfulness. I think one part that, you know, that didn't come out through is this app is very accessible. The time that this team spent to make, you can navigate through this using just your keyboard. And I think that's one part that would have been good demoing as well. But this is just super great.
Yeah, and I actually just want to highlight the comment that Andrew put in the chat, which is that this database does expire a week from today. So you're probably going to want to take some consideration to figuring out how you can port that into your own personal account of Firebase so that you don't have to redo all that setup on the database side.
And then put it on a proper domain name and charge people for it, because this is amazing. Such great work. I'm blown away. It is fantastic. Like Stacy, I'm going to leave you all to do your retro, but just want to applaud you all. This is seriously amazing work. Level of professionalism is off the charts. You all have a bright future in tech, I know, and just want to thank you all for all the hard work you put in over the last 8 weeks, including the mentors. Thank you for everything you've done for this group. Just the way the team works together and everything is it's just been phenomenal. So great job, everybody. Don't be a stranger. Come back, do more Collab Lab stuff, do Career Lab, do Tech Talks. There's a bunch of ways to stay involved. So I hope you do. But until then, I'll see you later. See you in Slack. Great job. Great work.
Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for coming by.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then, with all of that said, unless somebody else wants to, talk a little bit more now that it's just our little cozy group, if there's anything additional you wanted to bring up or discuss, I think we would be ready to move into retro.
I was just gonna say, I feel like we could do an entire separate demo on accessibility, everything that.
Yeah.
Thank you to Andrew for kind of teaching us all about that, and I do appreciate the level of detail for that. But I think we could do an entire demo just on all the accessibility features that we've built into the app.
So as an idea, you as a team can do a recording that you can save, and that will be part of your LinkedIn. Like you can throw it on your LinkedIn profile. And I bet you when you're applying for jobs, you will get callbacks, because that is pretty stellar work.
Just as an example, and I know that the linking things sometimes on LinkedIn can be a little bit weird, but if y'all ever took a moment to check out mine, I do a lot of open source work with a particular project. And so I have instances where the work that I've done has been showcased in their personal or in their company blog, et cetera. And so I add all of those under that category. So I have an open source developer, I believe is the title I put to it. And then anytime I have anything documentable from my work, I make sure to attach it to that listing. So when you put Collab Lab into your LinkedIn, I highly encourage you to have a link to an instance, if possible, of this app and or recordings of the demo, because it's just one more place where people can find your work. Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right. I'm going to post the link to the retro if you don't already have it up. It's in the chat. And then I guess we'll do 10 minutes to fill out the boards. There are still 3 columns, but the 3rd column is now what's next. We want to know what your guys' intention and plan is for moving into the next part of your, career and steps. So let's take the time to do that, and we'll reconnect in 10 minutes.
So I think I made a mistake when I set up the board. It's supposed to be 4 columns.
It had the 4 columns, but as I understood it from the mentor channel, was that the 3rd column moved to be what's next rather than
I see.
where we could improve. Because since we're not
got it.
moving forward as the group with those improvements that we
Okay.
replaced it.
Okay, cool. I missed that.
So
Thanks.
unless I misunderstood that.
I don't see much this group needs to improve from this point of view.
Exactly, right. All right, just one more minute if y'all want to wrap it up here. Okay. Does everybody have all their thoughts down on the board? Great. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we can go through that. All right. So starting over with appreciations, we have Andrew on the top there.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you so much to all of you who have been mentoring us. It has been such a great experience, and I feel like I've learned a lot and gotten so many great ideas. And yeah, I feel like I'm taking away a lot from this experience.
That's great. Great, Nick.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of the same thing for me. And I would just add that I know that you all have, busy lives and obligations and families. So, I really appreciate the time that you've put in to help us during this project.
All right. So I've said it before, bears repeating, which is that Yenli and Cameron have been fantastic co-mentors. Just everything that you guys have done to help support not only the Collabs, but also each other has just been really, really helpful. And it's made my first mentor experience with Collab Lab fantastic. So thank you. And Andrew.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out Connie's great attention to the user experience and work on wireframing, which was really helpful in bringing everything together and helping us brainstorm about improving the app's functionality. I think that was like a really important step. And it was really fun to bring some of the ideas like the sliding ad form panel, which was kind of a ridiculously tricky, excessive thing that we really wanted to do, and we made it happen, and that was great.
Yeah, I appreciate Ander for really, I think, taking the wireframes and taking the design really to a new level. I think great job on the designs, as well as bring in a lot of your CSS and animation experience. It really just polished our app and makes it look fantastic. So thank you so much for taking on so much in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Amazing work all around. I wanted to thank April and Cameron for all the support. Also want to call out, April, when we first did our intro, you're like, oh, I'm just assistant thing. I don't know. I'm like only done work for like 2 years. It's like you're downplaying your skills. And I have to say, like the thought you put into answering everybody's questions and being there is just really stellar work. Like, I hope you keep mentoring because there's so much benefit to it. And just for everybody, like the way all of you work is just amazing to see, and just the collaboration, the conversations, the amount of stuff that ends up being done in this last 2 weeks. Like, I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of builds up to mine, which is, thanks to all of you Collabs for your openness to feedback, and you're willing to take on tasks and challenges and, to really challenge yourself throughout this process. And, that was, I know, labeled as being kind of secondary, and that the collaboration skills was your primary focus, but you guys were able to really grab hold of both of those opportunities and to grow on both levels. And it was really fun to watch. And Andrew.
Yeah, I appreciate how good of a job Nick did front loading a ton of tasks for the demo for going out of town in like a very short span of time, which really helped get everything together. And yeah, that was a huge help for me and all of us.
And Connie?
Yep. Again, want to thank the mentors so much for all of your input, guidance, just being available. I've really appreciated having access to actual senior level devs, what we consider senior level. It's a very rare opportunity that, you know, as or junior developers like us really have such access. So thank you so much for your time.
All right, so I wanted to recognize the input that Andrew has put in from addressing the accessibility from day one. There's a lot to learn in regards to accessibility, and having somebody who has that knowledge and willingness to share that knowledge is just really a gift to everyone. And so thank you. And Sheila.
So I wanted to thank everyone. I really enjoyed working with everyone, and thanks to Ander for listening to my jokes. But yeah, I learned a lot from just like listening to everybody and working with everybody. So I was just very glad to be a part of this and just being able to be a sponge and learn.
Cameron?
I want to thank all the Collabies for never relenting when it came to the importance of accessibility. I feel like there were a lot of points where you could have said, we've done enough, or particularly with the modal, you could have said, let's just use a modal and we'll come back to that. I learned quite a lot from the way that you all have prioritized accessibility, and I just want to share some appreciation for that.
Awesome. And Andrew?
Just want to echo back to you, like, thanks for being so fun to work with and super patient while troubleshooting things while repairing and cracking jokes back and forth. And I feel like we had just like such a great time, and it made the time really fly over the whole 8 weeks, but also especially this last week.
Awesome. And Cameron again.
I just wanted to say giant amounts of appreciation to my fellow mentors. April and Yenli have been amazing to work with, amazing to learn from, and I wholeheartedly appreciate it. So thank you both.
And then
Yep,
Connie's agreeing with Nick, so we'll go ahead and let Nick jump.
Yeah, thanks to Andrew and Sheila for really kind of taking the reins and spearheading some of our final tasks. You know, at the latter half of the week and over the weekend, since Connie and I, you know, were traveling and not really able to be working on stuff as much. So it was really grateful for that.
Awesome. All right, and keeping up the good feelings, we're jumping into what went well. I'm up here at the top. I really loved watching you all come together and work to create your design, and then dividing up the work in order to make sure that you hit the implementation deadline that you were looking for. It's just been really fun to watch you guys pull and grab each person's individual experience and capitalize on that as a team. And Nick.
Yeah, I was, this might be more of an appreciation, I guess, but I was just thinking, I was really thankful, you know, the last 2 weeks having teammates that are, you know, so talented with design and CSS, and it's really made it possible for our app to just look really professional and definitely better than what I could have done on my own. So really appreciative of that.
Right, and Sheila.
Having the demo outline really helped, and also I think our communication like the past couple of weeks has been great, and I kind of really appreciated that.
All right. Yeah, so really nice work preparing for and ensuring that all team members had an opportunity to present for your demo. It's really easy to just be all like, oh, you speak better or you know more about or whatever, and to really make sure that everybody got a chance to be heard and to show kind of their input into the project. That was great. And Andrew?
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job of getting a lot done in a short period of time and adding a lot of new features, and everybody contributed ideas and work, even though it was also like extremely busy Labor Day weekend. So yeah, I think we got more done than I thought we would. I didn't think we would be able to do all of the stuff that we did.
Great. And Yanli?
I love how everybody participated in the demo. This team, again, I want to say have very stellar communication, right? Echo what April said about the demo. It's very impressive that everybody have a voice, and I can hear all your voices, and it's very apparent that the app comes from all of you, and the design, the thoughtfulness is just amazing work.
Cameron?
This is going to sound pretty familiar, but the demo was great. It was polished, put together in a way that highlighted the app. I loved that everybody was included in demoing a part of the app, and it was all around good. No technical glitches. No, it was an awesome presentation that even in professional settings you don't see all that often.
Yeah, thank you to Andrew and Nick for putting together that script. Super helpful. Thanks for organizing that. Oh, the next one's mine as well. I think the amount of time that we spent on UX and design really came through in the final design. A lot of people were very impressed with our attention to detail. So I'm glad that we kind of put in that thought at the beginning.
And Nick?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the async work that we did the last 2 weeks. There was the last 2 weeks were a lot different than a typical week during this program, and we kind of had to figure things out on our own to do a lot of project planning and management, and I think we handled it really well.
Right. All right. So our final column here of what's next, my card's at the top. So given that I was responsible for encouraging the open source project that I work on to switch from flow type to TypeScript, I'm going to be spending the next 2 months kind of cleaning things up and getting all of our typing back in order. In order to make that transition, we kind of had to set some loosey-goosey rules in order to get everything over, and now we got to tighten the hatches. So I'm not going to be mentoring for the fall because I want to put my energy there, but I'll probably be back in the winter. So Andrew.
Yeah, I'd really like to keep learning and deep diving into React and accessibility. I definitely did not know nearly as much as I know now about accessibility, because I think going through step by step during this app and having extra, whenever I had extra time, I would look into that for each feature. It's been like a really great learning experience. I don't always have time to go into that, so I want to keep going.
Great. And Connie?
Yep. I will be participating in the career lab. So I'll be doing that next.
Great. And Sheila?
Can't hear me. Okay, here we go.
There.
I'll be participating in the career lab. Still looking for work. Continuing trying to gain knowledge and keep on like working on on my own like projects and tutorials and things like that. And I was also thinking about maybe forking the app that we created and add an authorization just to see if I can do it.
Yeah. And Yanli?
I'll be taking a break in fall session for mentoring. I'll come back for winter, but I need to focus on moving because my family and I are moving to another state, and also early stage startup mat stuff is, it's coming. It's going to be a lot of work. So, but I'll be back for winter.
Awesome. And Andrew?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing Career Lab and polishing up my LinkedIn resume and portfolio, which are all extremely neglected as a freelancer who gets mostly work through word of mouth. So I hope that'll be helpful for job hunting.
I would like to update our README. If it's cool with y'all, we can talk about it. And I think we should post our demo video on YouTube. So if we can get the actual like MP4, that would be great. And of course, there are some features for the app that we could work on. I already logged an issue for migrating the database. It's probably the biggest one for now. But yeah.
Yeah, so just so you know, like the demo will go on YouTube. But it'll be the entire meeting. So I can, once I get that uploaded, I can send over to you the MP4. I do delete it off my machine just so I don't have all that space taken, but I can transfer it over to you so that you would have a copy of it raw so that you could make whatever edits you wanted to.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, and enter.
Yeah, yeah, I think I would like to finish up some of the little small polish things. There's a couple tiny tasks, like little small things with the app that to still do, like fixing a focus thing and a button and just little stuff. And agree with the making the README and putting the demo video like on there. Just basically trying to do the last little final touches so we can all use this app as a really like great portfolio piece, since everything that happened in the last 2 weeks was kind of like very scrambled together.
Okay, and Connie, sorry.
Yeah. Personally, I think I will keep developing on the side. I'd like to pick up on some personal projects and tutorials that have kind of fell by the wayside, but just keep coding really as much as possible.
Sorry, I muted myself because my dog's yapping, but Cameron?
I think I will probably continue to gain some knowledge in React. I'll be taking a break from Collab Lab though, for personal life is kind of crazy at the moment. But I would also like to dive deeper into some backend languages. I personally really enjoy the logic portion of programming, and I could take a break from CSS. I'd be okay with that.
And Connie?
Yeah, I've learned so much over the last couple of weeks, mostly around React hooks, React in general, and accessibility. So the 8 weeks were such a whirlwind. I feel like I got little pieces here and there. So I want to dedicate some time to really make sure I understand these concepts fully. And same with the last couple of weeks, I might sit down and catch up on like all of our PRs and actual code changes, because it was such a crazy 2 weeks that I didn't actually feel like I got to look at everything in detail. So probably sit down and do that at some point.
Awesome. And Nick?
Yeah, so I said lots of job applications, but actually for that I need to do some updating on like resume and LinkedIn, and I'll be participating in Career Lab as well. And the other thing I said was trying to get involved with open source and getting into hopefully one project that I get to know well and I can advertise some contributions too.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen here.
So I do want to get a screenshot of all of us for memories. So I'm going to try a screenshot. I'll count to 3 and you can do whatever you want. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile everybody. Yeah, one more?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. All right. That will be shared in the dev.tl blog that we will do as mentors, and we'll coordinate on that. One thing I do want to say is there's an advanced project, not for fall, but Andrew tends to run it like every other cohort. It really depends on like coordination and how much time he has. So if you want to dive deeper into a more advanced project and learn collaboration using Jira, and I think it's a different way of working as well, and you can learn a lot from that one. So keep an eye out. Usually he throws it out in the Slack channel to say, hey, we're doing this advanced project, who's interested, apply here, kind of thing. Yeah, what else? So I can't wait to see where all of you will land. So excited. Even though I'm taking a break, I'll still be part of the Slack channel because I just can't help myself. I'll be sharing stuff, trying to answer questions. And, you know, if there's anything that you need help in, like, don't be shy, like throw it in the channel, in our personal channel, or you can also throw it all out in the Learning Together. Like, everybody is very open to being there and helping out. And come back and mentor too if you feel inclined to, because, you know, the best way to learn is to help explain and teach.
I wanted
Thank
to
you,
just
everybody.
quickly mention that a couple of you, sorry, Cameron.
No, go for it. I was just saying thank you.
A few of you all mentioned that you wanted to continue to push and challenge what you've learned here and move it forward. And so a really great resource for doing that is called Front End Masters. And they have project challenges that you can do. And I think there is even like solutions that you can look at, which is a version of like how somebody else did it. So obviously that's not the end all be all, but at least gives you a path if you get stuck somewhere along the lines. I'll put the link, I'll put it in here in this chat just so you can get to it quickly. And then I'll put it in the main Slack channel so you can back reference to it as well. But it's a really great way you can look at the different challenges. They start out just as like from basic, just static pages to more animation and involved challenges, as I recall on that. And it's a nice way because you're given a design and you're given, I think, even some of the assets. So then you can just focus on, if I was to receive this from a designer, how would I put it together? The skill part of what normally happens for a front end developer, role. So it's a great resource.
I think one other thing is, this team, again, you work so well together that I definitely recommend, you can keep that going. That's the point of community and connecting with others, and to continue supporting each other in wherever you are in your career, because you never know when you will be you may land in the same company, right? Like, there's a lot of times like, hey, we're hiring. Do you know any good developers? Yes. Why, yes, I work with this person. And that's like the best way to go about it, And then we also have into the Collab Lab is a Build Together channel, which is something that I've sparked the conversation at the beginning of this cohort in terms of like, who wants to do open source? Let's get together and let's do it. It's very ad hoc. And I think during my break, I will probably pop in there often and be like, hey, who wants to build together? And I think that is a good place to reach out and get people to build with, and to code together with, like pairing, keep it going.
And I think I speak for all of us in that we're all going to stay in the Slack channel. So if you have a question or want some feedback or whatever, just send a DM. I'm in there. Ping me in the channel. And I'll stop cutting Cameron off.
No, I was just gonna say thank you, because it's been great working with you all. And that I would love for you all to take away the fact that you have the ability to do this professionally if you should so desire. You all have the interpersonal skills to clearly work effectively with other people. You have the technical skills and knowledge, and the pace at which you all were learning was unbelievably impressive. So thank you.
All right. Well, As sad as it is to say, I think that's a wrap, you all. Yeah, and go back to enjoying your extended weekend and find us out there in Slack.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
to the